The Lafayette-class occupies a distinctive place in French naval history. When it entered service in the mid-1990s, it embodied a leading-edge concept, a lean, stealthy, expeditionary surface combatant optimized for presence missions, shadowing, patrol, escort, and diplomatic flag showing. 28 years later, France has chosen not to retire these ships quickly, but instead to refurbish them for continued service into the early 2030s. This decision is not emotional or nostalgic. It is strategic. It recognizes that maritime force is not only defined by raw combat capability, but also by continuous presence, operational depth, and flexibility in an increasingly unstable maritime environment. France confronts a world where maritime flashpoints have multiplied: the Eastern Mediterranean, the Baltic, the North Atlantic, the Red Sea, the Gulf of Guinea, and the Indo-Pacific. Maintaining constant naval presence in these regions requires a layered fleet structure. While the new generation of FDI frigates and the advanced FREMMs are elite multi-mission combatants, they are too valuable to be tied down to lower-intensity presence operations. At the same time, retiring Lafayette would create gaps in the order of battle during the transition period. The midlife upgrade program allows France to keep these ships active not as relics, but as practical tools for modern mission sets. The upgrades are not superficial. The most important transformation is the addition of hull sonar and an upgraded anti-submarine warfare capability, including integration with Mu-90 torpedoes. Lafayette had often been criticized for lacking a real anti-submarine defense, which limited its utility against undersea threats. With the upgrade, it becomes a viable ASW platform, especially in environments with conventional diesel-electric submarines rather than nuclear fast-attack submarines. In parallel, its electronic warfare suite, combat data systems, and countermeasure architecture have been modernized. This includes improved ability to detect, classify, and deceive incoming threats, especially modern sea-skimming missiles, smart munitions, and unmanned platforms. Stealth, once the defining trait of the class, remains relevant. Despite being designed decades ago, the basic shaping and radar-absorbent structure still reduce signature compared to conventional frigates. In a world where detection and tracking networks are increasingly pervasive, any reduction in probability of detection increases survivability. Moreover, updated combat systems can now better exploit that stealth, coordinating radar silence, passive surveillance, and emission control. Within the French fleet structure, Lafayette plays a specific role between the heavy combatants and the lighter patrol vessels. Horizon and FREMM provide high-end capabilities for air defense and ASW. The FDI class, especially with expanded missile capacity to 32 Aster cells, will assume high-end first-rank duties. Lafayette, meanwhile, remains ideal for presence missions, territorial monitoring, extended patrols, convoy escort in low-medium intensity environments, and protecting sea lanes. It is also suitable for shadowing surveillance of foreign naval units and conducting maritime security operations, from anti-piracy to embargo enforcement. From a financial perspective, extending the life of Lafayette through refurbishment is significantly more efficient than acquiring new hulls. For a fraction of the cost of new construction, France maintains an active deployable asset that retains deterrent and operational value. Moreover, this approach stabilizes industrial activity for Naval Group, ensuring stable workload while FDI hulls are still being completed. The alternative would have been a trough in naval force availability between the drawdown of aging frigates and the full deployment of their replacements. Instead, France maintains operational continuity. There is also a political and diplomatic dimension. French surface vessels serve as instruments of state presence. They represent France in joint exercises, freedom of navigation patrols, and port visits. A cutting-edge FDI is not always necessary for such missions. An upgraded Lafayette suffices, and in some contexts is preferable. Deploying Lafayette can convey a calibrated signal, visible but not escalatory, firm but not aggressive, capable without being provocative. This subtlety aligns with France's strategic culture as an autonomous naval actor with global interests. There is another forward-looking element: post-retirement options. By the early 2030s, as FDIs saturate the fleet, France may choose to release Lafayette vessels for secondary roles or transfer them to partner navies. Countries like Colombia, Morocco, Peru, or the Philippines might be interested in acquiring a proven frigate with ASW capability at a cost significantly below that of new-build ships. If this occurs, Lafayette would serve as a force multiplier for French diplomatic and defense relationships. Many former French naval assets have found second careers abroad, building long-term defense ties. Lafayette could follow the same path. Importantly, the modernization aligns with evolving threat models. Naval warfare is experiencing rapid shifts: proliferation of unmanned surface and underwater systems, hypersonic anti-ship technologies, contested littorals, maritime gray zone coercion, and underwater infrastructure protection. Lafayette's update does not attempt to transform it into a top-tier combatant. Rather, it aims to keep the ship effective in these asymmetric and hybrid maritime environments. A classic example is its improved ability to detect and defend against unmanned aerial vehicles and small, fast attack boats, both of which are increasingly common in irregular maritime confrontations. The Lafayette upgrade also reflects a distinctly French philosophy. A navy must be designed to operate globally, independently if necessary, and not exclusively within a single alliance posture. Unlike some NATO navies configured almost entirely for alliance-defined missions, the French fleet is built to act autonomously in French overseas territories, in the Indian Ocean, or off West Africa. In such environments, a flexible frigate with moderate firepower but high endurance and good situational awareness is often the optimal tool. Overall, the decision to extend the life of Lafayette is a case study in strategic prudence. Rather than rushing to retire aging hulls in pursuit of prestige or technological purity, France has taken a balanced approach: introduce a new class at the high end, maintain the mid-capability layer during the transition, and preserve operational reach across several theaters simultaneously. It is a recognition that naval power is cumulative and continuous. Fleets are not built only of steel and electronics, but also of experience, doctrine, routine, and presence. In the coming decade, Lafayette will operate alongside FREMM and FDI as part of an integrated force structure that is modernizing without losing continuity. It will serve as the connective tissue between generations of French naval capability. Its career extension signals a broader truth: that France is determined to maintain its status as a true blue-water navy with global presence, not merely on paper, but in daily deployments. Far from being a sign of weakness or delay, the resurrection of Lafayette is a demonstration of strategic maturity.